Why is becoming a veterinary assistant so important?
What you'll learn, especially from our program, is really the tip of the iceberg. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago, really, you had technicians and then you had children that you hired off the street. And I say children loosely because they're really teenagers. And they'd start off on the bottom and work their way up. But you don't not necessarily practicing the best medicine. They don't know exactly what they're doing. They don't know what to alert the veterinarian to. Now that we have programs like this, they know exactly what they're doing. They know what to look for, and they know when to alert when help is needed for those patients that are hospitalized, those that are checking in that the owners just aren't sure something's wrong with them. So veterinary medicine is greatly improved, not only on itself, but because of the education that we're giving individuals.
Yes, I worked with several hospitals over the years, and it is granted, we would hire people off of the street, and they usually start at the bottom, which would be like kennel help type of thing. And then we would have to do like an on-the-job training type of thing. As far as the Veterinary Assistant Program is concerned, you get that education and you get that experience under your belt. A lot of veterinary hospitals don't have time to train these days. They're always very busy. If you can go in there with an education, with some experience under your belt, you're going to be put above the other people who just walk in off the street.
What are some things veterinary and animal hospital professionals look for when hiring a veterinary assistant?
I have to say, experience is probably the number one thing. Some form of education, especially nowadays, they like to see some form of education, be it an assisting program, volunteering, doing an ROTC program through their schools. Another biggie is, do they have pets of their own? That just shows that you know basic care. Of course, they want to see that bright, personable personality. And right when you walk through the doors, when the interview begins, you might not see the vet, you might not see the office manager, but that receptionist remembers you.
I always looked for some sort of a baseline experience, whether it's volunteering, maybe working in another vet hospital, of course, education. The education is a big part. Some type of hands-on training, that type of thing. Like I said, volunteer work, working in another veterinary hospital. As I said before, many veterinary hospitals these days don't have time to train. And if you have somebody that comes in there that has a basic experience, has a basic good foundation, and that always looks a lot more appealing to veterinary hospitals when they are looking to hire somebody. They want that education, they want that dedication, they like to have that good baseline and foundation.
Tell us about what it's like working as a veterinary assistant on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, it's challenging by far. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of standing, a lot of running around. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. But you do get that added benefit of seeing the patient that came in. It could not have walked. It may have been, hit by a car. The owner's rushed it in. When you see it walk out that door, the craziness, the stress, the day-to-day challenges that you face while working in veterinary medicine are always worth it.
Yes. We always say as veterinary technicians, we don't do it for fame and we don't do it for the attention. We do it for the love of the animal, and not only the love of the animal, but also the one that we want to take care of that. Take care of that patient, take care of that animal. And so behind the scenes, if it's a multiple doctor practice, you've got surgery, you've got x-ray, you've got blood work, you've got the phones ringing, you have got this patient needs to go out, this patient needs to get prepped for surgery, this patient needs a fecal, this patient needs like 100 different things that happen every hour. And it's overwhelming, like Jennifer said, it's very overwhelming. It can be a little stressful and things, but at the end of the day, and as she said, when you go home,
I have to see even those little snatches of time where you find that you have 10 or 15 minutes where it's just quiet down and you climb into that cage with that dog on IV fluids and you just sit there and rub their ears and tell them how fantastic they are. Mm-hmm. You climb out of that cage when you're done and your heart feels lighter, you feel better, and you feel like you can tackle 10 more appointments. It's just it's like a recharge.
You feel 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
You feel 10 feet tall.
A good feeling.
The feeling is That's it. That's it.
It's the best feeling in the world.
It is. It is. You're actually making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give prospective students considering a career as a veterinary assistant?
The number one I have to say is my big thing is that we're making veterinary medicine better. That's more knowledge into our field. That's better care that those animals are going to get. That, that hospital just gained a huge benefit with our student because now that student knows, that student understands what they're doing. And I feel that because we're doing programs like this, because Animal Behavior College is there, we're making sure veterinary medicine continues to improve and doesn't stagnate.
Yes, and even with the hospital situation and things, even with the owners, the things that we can give the owners, the things that we can help them with, that helps educate also the owners, which also improves the animals' lives also. So being there is not only for the patient and things, which is of course our main goal, but also making that person, the owner, a better animal owner and helping them understand how to care for their pet better. That also adds to it. So we feel that with our graduates that we're not only helping the animal, we're helping the owners to become better people, better pet owners, and that type of thing, and just making a difference for that patient.
Quality
and for
of
that
life.
Quality of life.
Quality of life.
A good quality of life for
That's
that patient.
the biggest thing that you want to focus on is the quality of life of the patient, the animal. I mean, and you get so many of those first-time animal owners that have no idea what they're doing, and they might think it's perfectly okay. You throw the food bowl down, you don't need to give any attention, you don't need to do basic socialization, and those are the animals that end up in the shelter. And when you go out there and you understand and you have this basic understanding, you change that owner's
Perspective.
perspective and realization of how they should treat and care for that patient, and that patient doesn't end up in the shelter.
Yes.